Hello and welcome to Code Confidence. Today we are looking at Leetcode 937, reorder data in log files. So let's read the problem statement first and then see how we can solve it. We are given an array of logs. What is a log? Each log is a space delimited string of words. Okay, so a log is a string of multiple words which are space separated, and the first word is an identifier. There are two types of logs. One is the letter log, in which all the words except the identifier have lowercase English letters. Okay, and then we have the digit logs, in which except the identifier, which is the first word of the log string, the others are digits. All right, we have to reorder these logs such that all the letter logs come first, and after the letter logs we have the digit logs. The letter logs should also be sorted lexicographically by the content. Okay, and if the content is same, then we need to sort by the identifiers. All right, so before moving forward, let's look at the constraints. There can be a minimum of 1 log string and a maximum of 100 log strings. All right, and every log string will have at least 3 words and a maximum of 100 characters. So there can be at least 3 characters and a maximum of 100 characters, and all the tokens of log I are separated by single space. And then there is an important line which says logs I is guaranteed to have an identifier and at least 1 word. So there won't be a log file in which we have only an identifier and no content. So let's once again work through some examples and then come back to Leetcode to code the solution. Identifier is followed by the content of the log, which can contain 1 or more words. It is given to us that there will be at least 1 word in the content and there will be at least 1 identifier. So with that, if we write an example for the log, we can say that it is let's say a string identifier AB1, then followed by I am a log. So inside this part here is the identifier, and the remaining part is the content. There can be another type of log here, which is a digit log, in which the identifier can be anything like dig1, and then it is followed by a string of digits like 1, 4, 9, 6 and so on. So in this case also we have this part as the identifier and the remaining part is the content. Okay, so we need a way to check whether this is a letter log like the top one, or if it is a digit log like the bottom one. And how do we do that? We will have to see what is inside the content of the log. So if we take the simplest possible example, then we can have a logs collection with only 1 log. Now we are supposed to reorder, and reorder means sorting. We can sort this, but the issue is that there is no pre-built sorting function that will do this for us. We will need to define our custom comparator function to do the sorting. Or so we can take a heap to do the job for us. We are going to look in this example the heap approach to solve this problem. What we will do is, in this collection of logs, we will identify and separate out the letter logs and the digit logs because they have different rules for arranging them. For the digit logs, We just have to follow the order in the example. That is, we don't have to do anything. We can copy them as is. The only thing that we need to ensure is that all the digit logs should be added in the solution after all the letter. For the letter logs, we need lexicographical sorting by content first. So first, if the content cannot break the tie, when the content of the two logs is same, then in that case we use the identifier. So our approach will be to keep the digit logs as is in the list, and the letter logs we can add them into a heap, with the priority being decided by the content as well as the identifier. And then when building the solution, we will extract all the letter logs first from the heap and add it to our solution. Because we are keeping them in a heap, so they will be coming out in a sorted fashion, and then we will copy the digit logs into our result. So let's go to Leetcode and see how we can code this. See you there. Okay, let's see how we can code this solution. What we are going to do is to maintain a heap for the letter logs. We can do that using a list in Python, and we are also going to maintain a list of our digit logs. Okay, now we will process every log one at a time. So for log in logs, if it is a letter log, then we will add it to the heap, and if it is a digit log, then we will add it to the digit logs list. So we need to check if the log is a letter log or a digit log. For that, what we can do is use the isAlpha function from the Python and apply it to the first character of the content part of the log. So let's first split the log into two parts, and we can do that by saying the identifier comma content is equal to logs log dot split. We are splitting at a space, and we are going to split it into two parts. So we are placing it one here. That means we are only making one split, or we are splitting at the first space. The left part goes to the identifier and the right part goes to the content. Now, using the content, we need to verify if it's a letter log or a digit log. For that, we can say if content 0, that is the first character of the content part, dot is alpha. If it is alphabetic, then it is a letter log. Else it is a digit log. So in that case, we will just add that log to the digit logs list. So we can do that by appending the log here. Okay, now for the letter log part, we need to add it to the heap. For that, we can import first the heap queue module, and then we can say we will add this log to the heap. So we can write heap queue dot heap push. We are going to add it to the letter log heap. And what are we adding? Since we need to prioritize based on the content first, so we will add content. Then the sorting should be done with the identifier. So identifier, and then the actual log that we need to add to the heap. So what we have done here is we have passed a tuple that we are saving in our heap, and it is first going to be sorted using the content and then the identifier, and log is the content of this item. Now let's solve for the result. So we take the result as the empty array, and then we will first process the heap. So for I in range len of letter logs, we pop out the item, but we are only concerned with the log and not the content and identifier. So we can say underscore underscore then log is equal to heap q dot heap pop. What is the name of the heap? Letter logs. So we got our log from here, and then we can append it to the result. So result dot append log. So this takes care of the letter logs part. Now let's add the digit log. So we can now say for I in range, or instead of using the loop, we can simply say result dot extend digit logs, because we are just simply need to add everything in the digit log to the result. Alright, so we are done now. So we can simply return the result. So this is our code for this solution. I can take out this comment from here. And now let's run this to see if it works. Okay, we get a runtime error because our heap is named letter logs. So I'll just correct the mistake here. Now everything should be fine. So let's run it again. And we have the test cases passing. Okay, so let's try to submit this and see if it works. And we get an accepted for our solution. That's great. So let's talk about the time complexity and space complexity for our solution. Let's look at the time complexity first. We are using a loop here that is going to run till the length of logs. So if the length of logs is n, then this part is on. Inside this loop, we are doing a heap push to push items to the heap. This pushing of items can happen in the worst case till n items. If all of these items are letter logs, then we will have to push everything onto the letter heap. So that is log of n. But then there is a comparison going to happen here based on the content, which is the length of the string. So if the length of the string is at max m, then the comparison itself will take om time. So this is m log n. This complete comparison is m log n. And then because we are using it in this log, so it becomes order of n, then into m, then log of n. Okay, where n is the number of items in logs and m is the length of string. Okay, now about the space complexity. We are using two lists here. One is for the heap of letter logs and the other is for the digit logs. So in the worst case, all of these items can go into the letter logs or in the digit logs. Since the length of the logs item is n, so they will hold n items. And we are not using any other spaces here except for building our result, which will also be of length n in the end. So the space complexity of this solution is order of n. Alright, so that is it for this problem. Keep practicing. See you in another video.